In the darkest depths of the galaxy, where hope is a forgotten dream, a young miner named Julius emerges as an unlikely hero. Torn between the chains of oppression and the fierce desire for freedom, his journey from forced labor to liberator ignites a rebellion that will reshape the fate of an empire. Witness the epic rise of Julius as he battles the might of a tyrannical regime, forges unbreakable bonds, and inspires a galaxy to stand united against tyranny. The path to freedom begins with a single step into legend. The rise of Julius. The story starts. At the farthest edge of a sprawling galactic empire, there is a mining settlement on the desolate planet of Atraxis. The settlement is trapped in perpetual night, with the only source of illumination being the oppressive glow of fluorescent lights, which cast a sickly pallor over the faces of the slaves. Their eyes, long unaccustomed to natural light, have become dull and lifeless. Among them is Julius, a teenage boy whose spirit has not yet been entirely crushed by the relentless toil and brutality of the mines. Julius stands at an average height, with a lean frame covered in the grime and sweat of endless labor. His once vibrant chestnut hair is now matted and dulled by dust. Despite the hardship, his emerald green eyes still hold a flicker of defiance. Julius's face reflects determination, with high cheekbones and a jaw set in perpetual resolve. Despite the bleakness surrounding him, Julius dreams of a life beyond the mines, of freedom, and the open skies he has never seen. The mines are a sprawling labyrinth of tunnels that reverberate with the sound of pickaxes and the groans of the enslaved. The air is heavy with dust, making each breath a battle. The overseers, imposing figures in dark armor, patrol the tunnels with cruel efficiency, their eyes hidden behind visors that reflect the dim light in eerie flashes. Julius and his fellow slaves are working in the mine when a tremor shakes the ground. The overseers command them to keep working despite the panic. Julius sees this as an opportunity and knows that survival in the mines means seizing any chance, no matter how dangerous. The tremor is followed by the arrival of the Emperor's conscription officers, who are there to draft able-bodied slaves into the Emperor's army in exchange for freedom. Julius is chosen and silently bids farewell to his world as he is taken away, feeling a mix of fear and anticipation. Julius is taken to a military base on the planet of Zalor, where he will undergo his transformation from a miner to a warrior. The base is a bustling fortress filled with soldiers and machinery on a world illuminated by harsh twin suns. The training is incredibly tough, designed to weed out the weak and toughen up the strong. Days and nights blur together as Julius endures endless drills, combat simulations, and physical conditioning. His body, once used to the repetitive movements of mining, is pushed to its limits. His muscles ache, and his already calloused hands become even rougher. Despite the physical toll, Julius excels. His eyes, now filled with determination, take on a steely resolve. He quickly learns the intricacies of various weapons, from energy rifles to plasma swords. His instructors, experienced veterans of numerous battles, recognize his potential and push him even harder. Julius's squad mates are a diverse group, drawn from all corners of the Empire. There is Kale, a towering brute with a heart of gold. Lyra, a lithe and agile scout with quick reflexes. And Draven, a tech-savvy genius who can hack any system. Together they form a bond forged in the fires of training and tempered by the shared dream of freedom. As the weeks pass, Julius's skills sharpen. He becomes proficient in close combat, his movements fluid and precise. His mind, once focused solely on survival, now strategizes on the battlefield. He begins to understand the complexities of war, the delicate balance between aggression and caution. Word of Julius's prowess soon reaches the ears of high command. Impressed by his rapid progress and natural leadership, his instructors recommend him for officer training. Julius is transferred to a special unit where he undergoes rigorous training in tactics, strategy, and leadership. The transition is not easy. Julius is thrust into a world of political intrigue and power struggles, where every decision can mean the difference between victory and defeat. He navigates this new terrain with the same determination that saw him through the mines and basic training. His keen mind absorbs the lessons of war, and his tactical acumen begins to shine. In his new role, Julius faces challenges that test his resolve and morality. He leads missions against rebel forces, making decisions that weigh heavily on his conscience. The faces of those he fights, both friend and foe, haunt his dreams. Yet he remains steadfast, driven by the promise of freedom and the hope of a better future. Please remember the following text. Julius's rise through the ranks is meteoric. His exploits on the battlefield earn him the respect of his peers and the admiration of his superiors. His squad, now a tight-knit unit, follows him with unwavering loyalty. They fight together, bleed together, and dream of the day they will taste freedom. Julius's reputation soon reaches the emperor himself. Intrigued by the young officer's potential, the emperor summons Julius to the capital planet of Imperius. The capital is a marvel of engineering, a sprawling metropolis of towering skyscrapers and gleaming spires. It is a stark contrast to the dark mines where Julius spent his youth. The emperor, a figure shrouded in mystery and power, grants Julius an audience. The throne room is vast, adorned with banners and symbols of imperial might. The emperor's presence is imposing, his eyes cold and calculating. He offers Julius a choice: continue to serve as an officer or take command of the Dark Army, a feared and elite force tasked with conquering newly discovered planets. Julius accepts the challenge, driven by the desire to prove himself and the hope that he can one day earn his freedom. The Dark Army is a formidable force composed of the Empire's best soldiers and equipped with cutting-edge technology. Julius's new command is both a privilege and a burden, as he must now lead men and women into the heart of battle. The first mission under Julius's command is to conquer a newly discovered planet, rumored to be rich in resources and strategically valuable. The planet, named Terce, is inhabited by humans who have established a fledgling colony. Julius's orders are clear: subjugate the population and secure the planet for the Empire. The journey to Terce is long and fraught with anticipation. Julius's mind races with strategies and contingencies, his thoughts a whirlwind of preparation. The Dark Army's fleet, a formidable armada of warships, cuts through the void of space with silent efficiency. As the fleet approaches Terce, the blue-green surface of the planet comes into view, presenting a beautiful yet haunting sight to Julius, who has never known a home. The battle begins as the fleet descends. The initial assault by the Dark Army overwhelms the colonists' defenses with advanced weaponry and superior tactics, lighting up the sky with energy beams and causing explosions across the landscape. Julius leads from the front, a symbol of strength and determination. However, as the battle rages, Julius begins to question the morality of his mission. The fear and desperation on the colonists' faces haunt him, as he sees in them the same desire for freedom that burns within his own heart. The distinction between conqueror and liberator blurs, testing Julius's resolve. The turning point in the battle for Terce comes when Julius is captured by the colonists in a daring raid on his command center. Brought before the colony's leaders, they offer him a choice: continue to fight for the Empire or join them in their struggle for freedom. Julius is torn, weighed down by the promise of freedom, so close, yet so far. The colonists, led by a charismatic leader named Seraphina, make a compelling case, speaking of a future where all beings, human and alien alike, can live in peace and harmony. Seraphina is a striking figure, commanding with fiery determination in her eyes, her dark hair cascading down her back in waves. Her soft voice carries the weight of conviction as she sees Julius's potential and the struggle within him. After days of soul-searching and reflection, Julius makes his decision. He chooses to join the colonists, driven by the hope of making a difference. Pledging his loyalty to Seraphina and the cause of freedom, he vows to fight against the empire that once enslaved him. Julius's defection marks the beginning of a new chapter in the struggle for Terce. He shares his knowledge of the empire's tactics and weaknesses with the colonists, helping them mount a more effective resistance. His experience and leadership prove invaluable, and the tide of battle begins to turn. Inspired by Julius's bravery, the colonists rallied to the cause with renewed vigor. They launched daring raids and sabotage missions, disrupting the Empire's supply lines and weakening its hold on the planet. The Dark Army, once an unstoppable force, found itself on the defensive. Julius's transformation from conqueror to liberator is not without its challenges. He grapples with guilt and remorse over his past actions, the faces of those he has harmed haunting his every step. Yet he finds solace in the bonds he forms with his new comrades, and the hope that he can make amends. Seraphina becomes both a mentor and a confidant to Julius. She sees the conflict within him and helps him navigate the complexities of his new role. Their relationship deepens, built on mutual respect and a shared vision for the future. The Empire, unwilling to relinquish its hold on Terce, launches a massive counteroffensive. The skies above the planet are filled with the roar of engines and the flash of laser fire as the Imperial fleet descends. The Dark Army, now under new leadership, is determined to crush the rebellion and reclaim the planet. The battles that follow are fierce and unrelenting. The colonists, outnumbered and outgunned, fight with a tenacity born of desperation. Julius leads them with unwavering resolve, his tactical brilliance and unyielding spirit inspiring those around him. The clash of armies reverberates across the planet, each side pushing the other to the brink. The colonists, though driven by the desire for freedom, struggle to hold their ground against the Empire's overwhelming might. The toll on both sides is immense, the landscape scarred by the devastation of war. In the midst of the chaos, Julius finds himself facing an old adversary. Kyle, his former squad mate and now a commander in the Dark Army. Their duel is a brutal and personal confrontation, a clash of ideologies and loyalties. The outcome of their battle will have far-reaching consequences for both the rebellion and the Empire. As the war on Terce rages, Julius and Seraphina seek to forge alliances with other colonies and resistance groups scattered across the galaxy. Their efforts to unite the disparate factions are met with both success and resistance, as old rivalries and mistrust threaten to undermine their cause. Julius's journey takes him to the planet of Elysia, a lush world known for its advanced technology and fierce independence. There, he meets Eliana, a brilliant engineer and leader of the Elysian resistance. Eliana is a woman of striking beauty and intelligence, her eyes a piercing blue, and her demeanor both confident and determined. The alliance with Elysia brings much-needed resources and reinforcements to the rebellion. Eliana's technological innovations, including advanced weaponry and defensive systems, give the colonists a fighting chance against the Empire's superior firepower. The bond between Julius and Eliana grows, built on mutual respect and shared goals. Not all encounters are as fortunate. On the planet of Draconis, Julius faces the challenge of convincing a warlord named Tarek to join their cause. Tarek is a formidable figure, with his towering frame and scarred visage bearing testament to a life of battle. Despite Tarek's initial skepticism and distrust, Julius's determination and sincerity eventually win him over. The tide of war shifts as Julius and his allies make significant gains against the Empire. The once dominant Dark Army is now on the defensive, its forces stretched thin across multiple fronts. Bolstered by their new alliances, the colonists launched coordinated attacks that crippled the Empire's supply lines and infrastructure. The rebellion's success draws the attention of the Emperor, who sees Julius as a growing threat. The Emperor dispatches his most feared enforcer, General Malakar, to crush the rebellion and bring Julius to heel. Malakar is a figure shrouded in legend and fear, his presence a harbinger of death and destruction. The confrontation between Julius and Malakar is inevitable. Their clash is a battle of wills and skill, each move calculated and precise. Malakar, with his dark armor and ruthless efficiency, is a formidable opponent. Julius, driven by the desire for freedom and justice, fights with a ferocity born of desperation. The duel reaches its climax in the ruins of an ancient city, its once grand structures now reduced to rubble. The sound of clashing blades and the crackle of energy weapons fill the air. The fate of the rebellion hangs in the balance as Julius faces his greatest challenge yet. With Malakar defeated, the rebellion gains a temporary respite. The colonists consolidate their gains and prepare for the inevitable counterattack. Julius and Serafina work tirelessly to strengthen their defenses, fortifying their positions and rallying their troops. The Empire, unwilling to accept defeat, launches a massive siege on Terce. The skies above the planet are filled with the roar of engines and the flash of laser fire as the Imperial fleet descends. The Dark Army, now under new leadership, is determined to crush the rebellion and reclaim the planet. The siege is a brutal and protracted conflict, testing the limits of both the colonists and the Empire. The battles that follow are fierce and unrelenting, each side pushing the other to the brink. The toll on both sides is immense, the landscape scarred by the devastation of war. Julius leads the defense with unwavering resolve, his tactical brilliance and unyielding spirit inspiring those around him. The colonists, though outnumbered and outgunned, fight with a tenacity born of desperation. Their determination and courage turn the tide of battle as they hold their ground against the Empire's overwhelming might. As the siege drags on, the rebellion gains the upper hand. The colonists, bolstered by their alliances and new technology, launched a series of daring counterattacks that crippled the Empire's forces. The Dark Army, once an unstoppable force, finds itself on the defensive. The final battle for Terce is a climactic and epic confrontation. The skies above the planet are filled with the roar of engines and the flash of laser fire as the two armies clash. The ground shakes with the force of explosions and the cries of battle. Julius leads the charge, his presence a beacon of strength and determination. The colonists, inspired by his bravery and leadership, rally to the cause with renewed vigor. The Empire's forces, demoralized and weakened, begin to falter. The decisive moment comes when Julius and his allies launch a daring raid on the Imperial Command Center. The battle is fierce and chaotic as they fight their way through the Empire's defenses. The climax of the raid is a confrontation with the new commander of the Dark Army, a ruthless and cunning tactician named Varus. With the fall of the Imperial Command Center, the rebellion achieves a significant victory. The Empire's forces on Terce are in disarray, and their leadership is shattered. The colonists, bolstered by their success, pushed the remaining Imperial forces off the planet. The victory on Terce is a turning point in the war. The rebellion, now a formidable force, begins to gain momentum across the galaxy. Other colonies and resistance groups inspired by the success on Terce rise up against the Empire. The once dominant galactic power finds itself facing a growing insurgency on multiple fronts. Julius and his allies work tirelessly to coordinate the efforts of the various resistance groups. The bonds forged in battle are strengthened as old rivalries and mistrust give way to a shared vision of freedom. The galaxy is a tinderbox, ready to ignite into a full-scale revolution. The final push against the Empire is a coordinated and relentless assault. The rebellion's forces, now a united front, launch simultaneous attacks on key Imperial strongholds. The battles are fierce and brutal, testing the limits of both sides. The rebellion's march to victory takes them to the heart of the Empire, the capital planet of Imperius. The sprawling metropolis, once a symbol of imperial might, is now a battleground. The streets are filled with the sounds of battle as the rebellion's forces clash with the Empire's last line of defense. Julius leads the assault on the Imperial Palace, the seat of the Emperor's power. The palace, a towering structure of marble and steel, is heavily fortified and defended by the Empire's elite guards. The battle is a brutal and chaotic struggle as the rebels fight their way through the palace's defenses. The confrontation between Julius and the Emperor is a climactic and epic showdown. The Emperor, a figure shrouded in mystery and power, is a formidable opponent. Their duel is a battle of wills and skill. Each move calculated and precise. The Emperor's dark powers and ruthless tactics are matched by Julius's determination and bravery. The fate of the rebellion hangs in the balance as the two adversaries clash in a final, epic confrontation. With the fall of the Emperor, the rebellion achieves its ultimate victory. The Empire, its leadership shattered, and its forces collapsed in disarray. The galaxy, once under the iron grip of imperial rule, is now free. Julius and his allies work to rebuild the galaxy, forging a new order based on principles of freedom and justice. The scars of war are deep, but the hope for a brighter future drives them forward. The colonists, once oppressed and downtrodden, now take their place as free citizens of the new Galactic Republic. The victory is bittersweet for Julius. The journey from slave to liberator has been fraught with hardship and sacrifice. He bears the weight of his past actions, the faces of those he has harmed and lost haunting his dreams. Yet, he finds solace in the bonds he has forged and the hope for a better future. Seraphina stands by his side, their bond stronger than ever. Together, they lead the efforts to rebuild and heal the galaxy. The promise of freedom, once a distant dream, is now a reality. As the new Galactic Republic takes shape, Julius and his allies work tirelessly to ensure that the principles of freedom and justice are upheld. The task is monumental, but the determination and unity forged in the fires of rebellion drive them forward. The scars of war run deep, but the hope for a brighter future propels the colonists forward. Once oppressed and downtrodden, they now stand as free citizens of the new Galactic Republic. The bonds forged in battle are strengthened as old rivalries and mistrust give way to a shared vision of freedom. Julius's journey is far from over. He continues to face challenges and obstacles, but his resolve remains unshaken. The memory of his past, the faces of those he has harmed and lost, drive him to ensure that the new order is one of justice and equality. The legacy of the rebellion is one of hope and resilience. The galaxy, once divided and oppressed, now stands united and free. The bonds forged in battle are strengthened as old rivalries and mistrust give way to a shared vision of freedom. The journey to rebuild the galaxy is fraught with challenges. The scars of war run deep, and the task of healing and rebuilding is monumental. Julius and his allies face resistance and opposition as old power structures and rivalries seek to undermine the new order. The cost of freedom is high, and the sacrifices made during the rebellion weigh heavily on Julius's mind. The faces of those he has lost and the memories of the battles fought haunt his dreams. Yet, he remains steadfast in his commitment to building a better future. The bonds forged in battle are tested as the pressures of leadership and the challenges of rebuilding take their toll. Julius and his allies must navigate the complexities of politics and power, ensuring that the principles of freedom and justice are upheld. The journey is long and arduous, but the hope for a brighter future drives them forward. The new Galactic Republic, though still in its infancy, stands as a testament to the resilience and determination of those who fought for freedom. The new Galactic Republic begins to take shape, its foundations built on the principles of freedom and justice. The scars of war are still visible, but the hope for a brighter future drives the efforts to rebuild and heal. Julius and his allies work tirelessly to ensure that the new order is one of equality and fairness. The challenges are immense, but the bonds forged in battle and the shared vision of a better future drive them forward. The galaxy, once divided and oppressed, now stands united and free. The journey from rebellion to republic is fraught with challenges, but the hope for a brighter future drives the efforts to rebuild and heal. The legacy of the rebellion is one of hope and resilience. The bonds forged in battle are strengthened, as old rivalries and mistrust give way to a shared vision of freedom. As the new Galactic Republic takes shape, Julius and his allies look to the future with hope and determination. The scars of war are deep, but the promise of a brighter future drives them forward. The challenges of rebuilding and healing are immense, but the bonds forged in battle and the shared vision of a better future drive the efforts to create a just and equitable society. Julius's journey is far from over. The memories of his past, including the faces of those he has harmed and lost, drive him to ensure that the new order is one of justice and equality. The legacy of the rebellion is one of hope and resilience, promising a brighter and better future for tomorrow. The once divided and oppressed galaxy now stands united and free, following the journey from rebellion to republic, a path fraught with challenges. Despite this, the hope for a brighter future propels efforts to rebuild and heal. Julius, once a slave and now a leader, stands as a symbol of resilience and determination, marking his journey with hardship and sacrifice, a testament to the power of hope and the strength of the human spirit. The rebellion's legacy is one of hope and resilience, uniting the divided and oppressed galaxy, forming bonds and a shared vision of freedom. The echoes of liberation reverberate across the galaxy, reminding of the struggle and sacrifice that led to a brighter future. The promise of tomorrow is a galaxy reborn, united in its pursuit of freedom and justice.